Alright, welcome back everyone. Brian here, licensed massage therapist at Rasa Spa in Ithaca, New York. Today we're going to be talking about self-care techniques for the upper arm, the bicep and tricep area. So if you're experiencing any pain in the elbow, either this posterior aspect, the back side of the elbow, the front side of the elbow, or even the back or the front of the shoulder, the upper arm could be a really good area for you to work on. So the first area we're going to talk about is the triceps. Now, in order to work on the triceps, I like to find an elevated surface and just be a little bit easier to work on. I've got my massage table right here. Now, quick note on using your lacrosse ball on the triceps. You can do it, and it can be a really good tool because it's, like we've talked about before, got a lot of great density, but because of the shape of the ball and the shape of this aspect of your arm, it can be kind of difficult to balance and get good sustained pressure without falling off to one side or the other. So a great tool for using on the tricep is this mini foam roller. And we sell those right here at Rasa. You can get them online. Or if you have a rolling pin at your house, that can be a great tool as well for this particular technique. So we're just going to put our mini foam roller on the elevated surface here. And starting just above the elbow, where the tendons of the triceps are, working in to the tissue, leaning the body in. This can be a great area to work. It's very thick, very fibrous tissue, doesn't get a lot of attention, and really can use it. It works very hard, especially if you're doing a lot of pushing exercises, things like that. And as you can see, as I'm working back and forth, I'm getting a little bit of elbow flexion and extension here, similar to how we've used that before in videos, just kind of moving the tissue underneath the pressure of the foam roller, and then moving up to the upper aspect of the tricep, a little bit of the, what you could consider the squishier area where the belly of the muscle lives, and just doing that same range of motion in that area. And you can kind of go side to side with it as well. Those of you who've watched our previous videos may have seen me use this type of technique on the upper leg with a full-size foam roller. Works the same exact way with this mini foam roller on the tricep. And then a great way to follow up from working on the tricep there is to do just a basic tricep stretch. And you can do it on the wall, but I find that it's a little bit difficult to maneuver my body and figure out where my head's supposed to go and how hard I'm supposed to lean in. So again, using the elevated surface, planting the back of your elbow on the table here, and then leaning your chest down toward the floor, and you'll see me use my off hand and pulling back toward my shoulder. That's just going to further the stretch there. So I'm going to sink into that stretch to show you kind of what we're talking about. And that's actually a great stretch a little bit for the triceps as well, depending on how far forward you're bringing your chest kind of down toward the floor. Play with some different angles, some different ranges of motion in there. See what feels good for you. And we're going to finish up this video by talking about the opposite aspect of the arm, the bicep aspect. You've got a muscle underneath the biceps, also called brachialis, which actually does a lot of the work in elbow flexion. And when we're talking about bicep, it does elbow flexion and also shoulder flexion as well. So it's kind of difficult to use the lacrosse ball or foam roller to get on this aspect of the bicep. It's just kind of difficult to set up for, and you can do it if you feel like you really need it, but I find a lot more benefit just by doing a pretty simple stretch with it. So we're going to go to the wall and just plant the hand on the wall with the fingers facing upward. You want your arm to be kind of flat. You want it to be horizontal between your body and the wall. You don't want it really, really low, and you don't want it really, really high. In order to get the most benefit to the bicep aspect of your arm, you want it pretty level. And then pushing into the wall a little bit here with my body, I'm going to then turn away with my hips and my chest. And that's just increasing the length between the 2 points where the bicep attaches, and just gets a really nice stretch in that area. And then while you're here, you might as well flip your fingers the opposite direction so that the fingers are pointing downward, and doing the exact same thing, turning away from it. And you're not really stretching the bicep here, you're really getting this inside aspect of the elbow, which is really where the flexors of the wrist originate. So it's a little bit more of a forearm stretch than it is a bicep stretch or upper arm stretch. But as long as you are in that position already, working on that, you might as well get that in there. Thanks for joining us again on our Wellness Wednesdays. Remember to follow us on YouTube and on Instagram, and join us next week when we're going to be talking about self-care techniques for the forearm and wrist. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.